Hey guys, it's Anahata. How are you? This is going to be one that you're going to want to listen back to for sure. It's 30 minutes. Spend the 30 minutes with me. Spend the 30 minutes on your homework, on your exercise today, and your life will transform in such beautiful ways. The only time you fail is when you give up. And so never give up. Just keep moving the needle forward towards your goals. And as you desire, your desires desire you back. Isn't that magnetic? Isn't that magnificent? That's just natural law. And so we're going to go in 50 seconds, and it's going to be 30 minutes of mind-blowing information. Again, you're going to hear things in different ways. And these are your aha moments. I'm going to get into that in a minute. So again, you're going to want to listen back to this because it will be new information. No matter how many times you think you've heard this information, today is a day when you haven't heard it like this. I can promise you that. And so can't wait to get going with you all. Again, if you haven't introduced where you're tuning in from yet, do so in the chat here in the live feed. The replay will be available for a short amount of time. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I'm so excited to be with you all today, guys. We are on day 2 of the 5 days of fully living your practically magical life. And it's a journey, a magical journey, an alchemical journey. One that is going to allow you to fully live. And to me, that means time freedom, money freedom, love, joy, passion, purpose, fill in the blank. And it's your right as a creator. We're going to get into our higher faculties and how you were made in God's image. Yesterday, we touched on it. Today, we go further into other areas and the ways you create. Because what I want for you in 2022 is to actually experience what you desire. And it's going to take just as much energy to live a miserable life as it is an amazing life. In fact, I feel like misery takes more energy. So it doesn't make sense to struggle because we are made to create and we create effortlessly as creators. Yeah, and the only reason we don't succeed is because it's outside of our identity. And when we struggle, it's because we're not thinking with our heart, we're thinking with our past, with our patterns, with our limitations, with what is, which is already the past. So we've got to expand past our physical environment. That's how I taught you yesterday to zoom out. And today we're going to take it further, the magic of physicality, okay? Yesterday was ether, which is all, and today it is physical. We're going to roll up our sleeves and actually dig into what is on a tangible level. This is going to change your life. And it is magical only because we aren't aware on a conscious level, on a collective level, how to use this information. And if you think about it, even miracles are natural laws. We just don't know how they work. That doesn't mean they don't occur and they don't exist. The fact that it happened makes it a law. And so anomalies aren't any less real than Newtonian physics. So I hope that blows your mind, because when you think about that, all bets are off. The sky is not the limit. It's the portal to more. And so what do you want? I hope that you were able to articulate that, to summarize that yesterday. Go back to day 1 if you haven't done it. Again, this is spherical, it's not linear. And I would love for you to live your 2024 emotionally. Really marinate in the wish fulfilled, and share if you'd like to enter to win the grand prize for this week. In day 1's feed, 300 words, not words, characters. So just 3 lines, 300 characters or less. What is your 2024? And the hack is as if it is so. It's not, I hope, or wouldn't it be nice? It is, I am so happy and grateful now that, and you fill in the blank with, this is being to see it. This is being that vibrational match. And as you think those thoughts, Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're thinking and what is. And your emotional layers coming out magnetize like strings, the people, places, and things that support that vision. So why is it that some people fully live while others just seem to struggle? Let's get into the presentation. And before we do, I want to sanctify this space, placing your hands on your heart, breathing into your fullness. However you want to do this, you can zoom out and see the earth as a speck, or you can zoom in on the molecular level and view your body as a universe, and just marinate in the awe and wonder of life and the fact that you are in this body, in this lifetime, here now. And think of all the wonderful things you have, as well as all the wondrous things you will experience as you activate your full ownership and sovereignty and become the author of your life. So one deep breath of gratitude. It is so, as I said, we're going to go so fast. What does it mean to fully live? Time freedom, money freedom, happiness, purpose, passion, health, essentially. And some people do it, some people don't. Why do some do it and some don't? It's because of patterns. That's it. We went over this yesterday, and a song was going through my head as I was visioning for today. We're like two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. But have we found the same old fears, right? That's the Wish You Were Here song, Pink Floyd. I'm aging myself, going to be 45 this coming year. And, you know, it's true. It's about patterns, and we don't break those patterns unless we break them. And how do you break them? You have to go beyond what is. The pattern is here, and it's a bunch of junk. Usually 77% of your defaults don't serve you because they're fear-based. They keep you small. They keep you safe, even in misery. And so it's about patterns. It's about paradigm shifts. We are fractals filling in the grid based on our chronic thoughts and emotional energy. It's called electromagnetism, okay? We don't have to be stuck in our realities. We do not have to do that. All we need to do is see it. So use our imagination, pull from the ether, believe it is so. And, you know, we are always becoming in the now, and that now is ever unfolding. We're going to get into it in a second. Today, we're going to get things flowing in the now and with all of you on board physically. So let's remap some of the terrain. Yesterday, we talked about ether, which is the all. Today, we're going into earth, which is physicality. Tomorrow, into air, which is mental. Day 4, spiritual fire. And day 5, my favorite, water, which is the emotional bridge between the unseen and the seen. I want you to commit to these 5 days, okay? Commit to see what's possible. You can hear this information and go, yeah, I get it. But it's one thing to hear it, and it's a whole nother thing to do it. And so your assignment is 30 minutes. That's it. So an hour of your day for 5 days, guys, can transform every asset that you have, every fractal that you're experiencing, your health, your wealth, your relationships, the way you view the world, your satisfaction, your purpose. All of this can come into crystal clarity, and you can boldly step forward to attain that immediately. And so this is a non-linear journey. By the way, if you do tune in to all days and you do the homework, the brief assignment, which is just there to help actuate your dreams, you will be entered to win all 4 of my books. I will autograph them and send them to you, and some water bending rocks. Okay, to qualify, you just need to do the daily assignment, and I will randomly be selecting one qualified co-creator to win that. So again, non-linear means that these are pieces of the puzzle, that each day it's using the same ingredients. Repetition is key, and here's why. When you have an aha moment, which you will have many of them in the next 15 minutes, you're going to go, oh my gosh, there's so much. When you hear something that rings so true to you, you are off on another mental plane thinking through that thought and that magnificence and how it applies to you specifically. And what happens is you miss the next 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And so if you watch this back, you're going to hear things in totally new ways because of those gaps being filled in that you didn't hear before because you were having ahas. Okay, so remember that as we flow through this. Now, to recap, yesterday, all that ever is and will be is here. Nothing is created nor destroyed. That's it. It's all here. And alchemy is transmuting and transforming the mass by changing the energy and frequency. And most of that is the way you think about things, your perception, what you're processing, what you're magnetizing. And so there are 3 planes of reality. There's a physical plane, a mental plane, and a spiritual plane. That's it. And within those 3 planes, there are 5 Plutonic solids. We're going to touch on each this week. We've gone over ether, we're in earth right now. We're going to touch on air, fire, and water as well. And just so you know, everything is combinations of these 5 Plutonic solids, everything. And once you know this, you really empower yourself to become an alchemist. Today is focused on earth physically. So this is not just soil, but it's all particle form. It's that 0.01%. So yesterday we were in the 99.9% energy and information ether. Today we're going the opposite end to the particle formation, which is everything we can see, taste, touch, smell, feel. And this is anytime you eat, you're taking in earth. Anytime you're experiencing physicality, this is earth energy. And it's the most basic and stable because it's collapsed. Earth, air, fire, water, ether, out of those, earth is the most stable because we can perceive of it, we can touch it, we can drink it. It's the manifested, right? We don't have to perceive of it on some other mental or spiritual plane. It's here. And so there's good news and bad news with that. And it depends on how you leverage the information. So we're going to get into it. This is the alchemical symbol for earth. Okay. Yesterday we talked about, see the 3 mental planes. We have physical, spiritual, mental, in no particular order. And when you flip that, it becomes a Merkaba. You can see the faded triangle here. And so this is your light vehicle. It's very sacred shape. And in fact, if you know anything about sacred geometry, it's the basic divine blueprint of all things. And so it repeats in everything, in the most micro and macro, molecular and universal. It repeats. This is the way in which we move. And the Merkaba is the light vehicle. It's the vehicle. And so the alchemical symbol for earth is the triangle with the bottom portion of that other triangle in. And you can think of it as all 3 planes with stability, right? It's sitting, it's here, it's manifest. That's just a side note, helps me remember what it is. So it is what it is, physicality, but do you want it to be? So now we're getting into today's lesson and we're going to move super fast. The next 10 minutes is going to blow your mind and you're going to want to come back and listen to this slide forward. If you want to miss all of the recap and the introduction, come straight to this point. Okay, and I'll point it out later, the minute marker for you if you want to refresh, because this next 20 minutes, 10 minutes is going to be a mind-blowing to say the least. It's going to make so much sense of your entire life and how best to move forward into alignment with where you vision. So it is what it is, and it is, but do you want it to be? You've heard of your truth is your truth. And it's true, because whatever you believe presents itself. Whatever you choose to believe shows itself to you. And then there's this loop. You're like, oh, I see it. I believe it. I believe it. I pull it. I see more of it. And that's how you energize reality. And so you can't try and tell someone their truth is wrong because they see it as truth because they're seeing it. As they believe, so shall they receive, right? So it's true, and it's true. But do you want it to be? This is where we get into your sovereign choice to choose other beliefs. And through choosing, those things will magnetize to you instead. This is overriding limiting beliefs, especially. Truth is in the eye of the beholder, indeed, right? So ask yourself, whenever there's something you want to change in your life physically, is it true? because sometimes it's not. Actually, the majority of the time it's not. It's just in your head. You're projecting based on the past and anxiety about the future. And so you just assume like the worst or whatever it is, the scenario that you're thinking is going to be true based on past evidence. So really looking, is it in my mind or is it actually happening? It's very rarely actually happening. It's more of a projection of where you think it will go due to the evidence that is appearing real, right? So ask, is it true? And if it really is true, right? Let's say your arm gets stuck in something and it's, and you're like, is this true? Well, yeah, that's true. But that's totally different than saying, oh man, I can't pay my bills. Is this true? Or is this like 2 weeks from now? Are you projecting into the future and then sabotaging your chance of ever getting to where you want to go? You got to ask yourself these things. So if it's true, that's fine. You can then ask yourself, do I want it to be true? This is the solution. As you affirm, if it's yes, and you want it to be true, cool, all systems go. Yes, cool, energize that, become that, be that, live that, breathe that, be confident. If it's a no, you can shift through transmutation, okay? This is where you can always view the glass as not only half full, but refillable. I love that. Is the glass half empty or half full? It's refillable. It's whatever you say you want it to be. And as I look at things, failure is only optimization data. It's a life lesson, okay? Anything that you're experiencing that doesn't feel good is your opportunity to up level, to learn, to grow, okay? Growth beyond who you are in your circumstance. So you only fail if you give up. That's the gist of it. And the key being zoom out past your identity, right? So I love this by C.J. Young. He was pivotal in defining archetypes and stories we tell ourselves. He was a psychologist. And he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You would not believe how often I hear people arguing for their limitations because it is. Instead of realizing as they affirm, so too it becomes. It's a pattern, and they call it their tough luck or their hard knocks instead of deciding to shift into something new. So what you see, taste, touch is what you're conscious of. You have to expand past what is into the new. And guess what? As I said yesterday, it's not here yet. All successful people believed in a version of themselves that hadn't yet occurred. It's critical. It reminds me of Lady Gaga. And I'm neither a fan nor a critic. I'm neutral because she's not in my life and whatever. There's people have very drastic opinions of her. But when I was dancing professionally in a group on the East Coast, the people that I was with, they knew her, right? This was right when she was becoming famous. And she hadn't reached any sort of mega fame yet at all. And I'll never forget, this was back, gosh, I'm aging myself, 20 years ago, 23 years ago, right? So this was right on the cusp of her breaking out. And they knew her and they'd go, oh gosh, there's so-and-so. And her name wasn't Lady Gaga, it was whatever it was, Michelle or something, I can't remember. Anyway, and the thing is she would act like she was famous and she would tell people, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be worldwide famous. And she would walk around like this and everyone would go, oh gosh, she's a little nuts, and oh, well, she went ahead and did it anyway. Right. So again, you have to vision so clearly that it just becomes, there's no way it won't. And you don't have to be cocky about it, of course. You don't have to be like, I'm, going to be this and that. But to yourself and to those that support your vision, you absolutely can and should. And it's a requirement to believe it before you see it. So the more comfortable with the new you are, the more you'll succeed. So this is where I say you've got to put yourself in those controlled chaos moments. We're going to get into stretch here in a minute. But it's all about identity. And that's the problem. You see, taste, touch, smell, feel what's in your identity, what you identify with, what you've experienced as real and valid within you physically. And if you don't see beyond that, you're not going to get beyond that. Okay. That's just how it's going to be. So this starts with your self-image and realizing you can be whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter. The sky is not the limit. It's the gateway to more and more and more and more. The empty space, this limitless potential, you are expanding. If you don't let yourself expand, you're going to feel pain. If you don't remind yourself that you're connected to all things, you will feel isolated. You will feel contracted, separate, and that's what fear is. Your energy literally contracts when you are in fight, flight, or frozen mode. So as you vision, as you decide, I want to go there, I want to do this, I want to do that, there's going to be tension because you're not there yet. So you're here, but you want to go here. And so the more you can visualize this as fabric and the way we move and get comfy with that movement, knowing that you can't fail unless you give up, then boy, just think about that. If you could imagine in your life truly that whatever you desired, you would have for sure. What things would you do? What risks would you take? What places where would you go? What would you do? What would your confidence be like? Okay, so this is all about adopting a different persona, which is outside of you. But here's the thing, when you do this, when you choose to do this and really start going for it, what's going to happen? You're going to have a tantrum. And it's not you having the tantrum, it's your patterns. Okay, stretching feels dangerous and your patterns will put up a fight. Okay, I love this graphic. It's like having a tantrum. You are going to have a tantrum. Okay, this is going to be like, but what is so vivid and real, I'll never get where I want to go. And you'll start slipping back into patterns of isness rather than where you want to be. And you're going to start validating the is because it's physical. Okay, so this is normal and the known is comfy. And when we try and expand past that comfort zone, our old patterns will say, heck no, where do you think you're going? Even the people around you are going to do the same thing. Okay, so they're going to want you to stay where they are because it's comfortable, and they're going to throw a tantrum as you try and break beyond that. Just disregard. Just go for it anyway. They'll be more comfy when they see that you're doing it, but don't let them bring you down. So I wanted to show you this image. It's called, I call it the full you. It's going to give you a better concept because you have three brains. You have your conscious brain, you have your subconscious brain, and you have your superconscious brain or being. And these are all aspects of you. Okay, you can see here the superconscious is everything and even more. It's there's no container, but obviously for this slide, there has to be an end. But imagine it going on and on and on and on infinitely, okay? Your consciousness is just 10%. It's what you're aware of. And this is not my math. They say most people are conscious 10% of the time. They're using 10% of their brain. So what is the other 90%? It is default. It's the conscious body default. It's what you do on autopilot. And it is helpful. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to have to learn how to redrive every day. Remember when you first started learning how to drive? You were like, oh, got to do this, this, and this. And it's it's stressful. And now it's just like default. You just get in the car and you go and you're just on autopilot. We're going to talk about autopilot and psycho-cybernetics later this week. But then there is a hack that I love. You can zoom out to your superconscious self, or you can go through the wormhole that is at your heart center. This is where we're going to talk about intuition, specifically in the fire element and spirituality. But for now, I'll just tell you, the source point is a hack. You can expand way out to all and see beyond your identity, or you can go into the wormhole that's at the center of every molecule, including your heart space, the Anahata, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, between the higher chakras and the lower. And we're going to talk about this in future days, but I just want to let you know there's a hack, right? And that's at the center. That's the source point, okay? Connects you to everything. And then you'll see here, I'm sorry for the noise, guys. As I said, I'm at a hotel lobby. Here we go. I'm in my stretch zone right here. I'm still in the flow. I'm still doing well. And this is the 4% beyond your current default. And I want to talk about flow because it's very important physically. Okay. There's a book called Flow. Here it is. Flow by Csikszentmihalyi. Okay. He was a psychologist. And he did a lot of research and what made people succeed. And it's the art of optimization, essentially. And it's very, very key in the physical to get to where you want to go, because it's built on what you know how to do and what you don't know how to do. And there's this beautiful point called flow where skill meets challenge. And he's figured it out that it's about 4% farther than you think you can go. Now, why is this key? Because you need to feel good about what you're doing in order to be engaged. If you're engaged and losing, you're overwhelmed. That's called anxiety. If you've bitten too much and you can't chew it, no, it's not going to work. You're going to shut down. Likewise, if you're bored and you're not challenging yourself, you're not stretching. It's the known. You're not expanding. So the key is to be expanding but comfy at the same time at a rate of about 4%. So guys, for those of you who procrastinate, this is the reason. Those of you who seem like you try and then you fail, this is the reason. You're biting off too much that you can chew, or you're not challenging yourself enough. You're bored or you're overwhelmed. You've got to get into the flow. Okay, that's the key to physical success and winning. Bored equals procrastination, overwhelm equals frozen, and neither of them mean you're going anywhere. Okay, so we want to reach an autotelic life. This means joy of the journey now, which means you must be present. So this is the key to expanding comfortably and enjoying the ride, not when, but now. So I want to read this quote. Optimal experience is based on the concept of flow. What is optimal experience? It's happiness, guys. It's contentment. And that's where you want to fully be if you're going to fully live. So the state in which people are so involved in an activity, you could be washing dishes, it doesn't matter, that nothing else seems to matter. And the experience itself is so enjoyable that people do it at great cost for the sheer sake of doing it. That is the autotelic lifestyle. That is the goal. Okay. Now, where do you think you're going? Right? This is the next part of it. If you stretch yourself too far and you're visioning, but you don't give yourself little nuggets along the way, little bite-sized 4% winnings, right? Things that you know you can accomplish on a day to day to move the needle towards where you're going, which is a big goal. You're not going to get there from here. Baby little steps, but at 4% increments, it'll keep you engaged, winning, satisfied. Because if not, as I said, you'll have a tantrum because you want to be here, but you're here and it's too scary. And you've failed. You're looking, because look, you will be going straight back to who are you fooling? So this is the problem. This is one of the biggest obstacles. You say, I'm all in, I'm doing it. But so for example, I'm ready for the love of my life. He's coming to me. I feel it. Winning. You go to sleep. I'm lonely. Where is he? Losing. Who am I fooling? He's not here, right? This is the looping. This is the looping of where you want to go and where you are. And that's tension. And so really, guys, your physical will call you out continually. And you have to be okay with that. It's going to say, it's not here yet. You think you're such a big shot for dreaming this? Well, it's not here yet. You want to make $1 million per year? Well, look at your bank account. Who are you fooling, right? And it's going to grow like that Pinocchio nose, and it's going to be physical. There'll be birds pecking on it. It's like, it's here. You want to heal your body? Well, too bad, there's pain, right? You see what I mean? Like, it's the realness of the is, but you have to remember that's the past. Okay. And you have to remember that the new takes time. That's the second thing. So one, you have to remember that's the past. Even though it's the now, it's the vibration from the past. And why? Because everything takes time to gestate. This is where you have to start honoring the law of gestation. This includes trust, knowing that if you plant a seed and you give it the proper nutrients to grow, it has no choice but to blossom into what you planted. no choice, but there is a lag time between what you vision and what is harvested. And you must allow that to occur, okay? It's divine timing. And it's about being content in the now with the physical, knowing that that's vibration from the past and that in every moment you get to choose anew, okay? But rest assured, you plant that corn, it's going to grow into corn. And you don't need to keep digging it up to say, is it growing? Is it growing? That's not going to grow. That is not going to grow if you keep trying to dig it up and examine why it's not growing. Let it do its thing. Honor the law of gestation. Okay. The other thing you can do to remain in the flow and excited for more is borrow beliefs. So this is where if you don't believe it fully, find the people that do. And this is so beautiful. This is what I was doing yesterday and will continue to do, validating all of your beautiful visions for 2024. It is so, and so it is, right? I don't have any issues with you getting any of those things because it's not in my identity that you wouldn't. I can fully believe 100% that every single one of you will reach every single one of those goals because I have no discord to it. So that's where we got to get, borrow someone else's belief, get a mentor. I'm so glad you've tuned into me. I hope at the end of this week, you'll choose to train with me for the next year. Get a tribe, tune in that actually supports your growth, not your limitations. Often this is not people that are closest to us because they know our identity, and they'll also start saying stuff like, well, you know your history and you know your limitations, and ooh, this seems a little risky, right? That stretching comfort zone. So those aren't the people you want to surround yourself with when you're pursuing your goals. Okay, you want to surround yourself with the people, places, and things that support your vision, that are in harmony with that vision, and that believe without a doubt in the identity you will achieve as you move forward into it. Also, you can use assisting frequencies for this, okay? Because assisting frequencies already exist in the plane of reality you desire. Meaning, if lemon essential oil does X, it does it. It doesn't hope to be lemon essential oil. It is, and therefore it embodies it innately. You can't argue. It's like the color of orange. It is orange. It's vibrating. Like that's just the science of it. A dog is a dog. A tree is a tree. So leveraging assisting frequencies that already vibrate at the resonance you seek is such a huge shaman hack. And we're going to do more of that this week. I just wanted to point that out. But let's get into a few more things, and then I'm going to give you homework. And this is an interesting thought. It's called Bhuta Suti. And it's the interesting paradox between physicality and being of it, but not being in the world, but not of it. Okay, because there's a trap. The more you identify with your body as you optimize and as you win, the more you associate it with you. And that is setting yourself up for a world of hurt because you're going to take things personally. So it's this balance. You need to balance mastery of your optimization and dispassion, being disassociated from that outcome. This is where you can really speed up your manifestation time, where you gently and certainly align, and then you allow gestation to occur. It's not your timing, it's when you're ready. And in the meantime, you're going to celebrate every aspect. And in that celebration and that gratitude for what is to become, it comes faster than you can imagine. So you're going to get more entangled with with physicality and repeating cycles unless you zoom out. Continue to zoom out, set solid goals, but don't become those goals in a way where if a little setback happens, you're devastated, which throws you completely off target. Okay. One such way to do this is the power of now. You can look up Eckhart Tolle. He wrote a book about it. It's essentially reiterating flow in a different way by being present as we were saying, the hack is 4%, challenged, remaining engaged and winning. He's talking about, you know, when you're in the now, which is the only moment we ever have, you can achieve inner peace. And I like to think of it as that cyclone, and the eye of the storm is the center of that storm. So there can be all sorts of chaos going around outside, but when you center in, regardless of the chaos, like right now, there's two ladies pulling a big thing of garbage out the door and opening the door, and all sorts of chaos happening. And I'm good with it. I'm totally present. I'm totally here. Seeing how things work, getting my mind around, my mind, body, and soul around what I'm doing. And so again, as I said earlier, the past is the past. And if you're not in the now and you're in the past, then it's going to feel discordant. You're going to be holding yourself into old patterns, and that's going to be felt as depression. If you are, you know, projecting into the future in a way that doesn't serve you, that's going to be felt as anxiety, and it's also going to be throwing you off center. Neither has happened yet. You've got to live now, from this moment, and you are the creator of your life fully. So we're almost done, guys. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, we gotta end soon. Ground yourself, be here, be present. Use the physical now as optimization data, regardless of what's happening. If something's in harmony, celebrate it. If something's in disharmony, celebrate it. See where it is that you need to up your skill set, your skill level. Get help. Surround yourself with the people, places, and things that have achieved what you desire. Not now. I'm sorry, not when, but now. In the now, that's all you ever have. So the 4 A's of Anahata we'll go into later this week. Ask, align, allow, activate. And the reason why I bring that up is if you ask and you align with it and you allow divine timing to come through, it will gestate, but you have to take action. Okay, so action is required to succeed. Just like if you listen to these presentations this week and you go, cool, awesome information, I totally get it, and you do nothing with the information, nothing is going to change. Okay, so you actually have to do what we say. And so I'm going to challenge you to challenge yourself this week by 4%. Whatever you're doing, do it better, do it faster, do it in new ways, engage yourself. And I want you to start zooming in to specific goals that are going to move the needle for you. Now, we talked about higher faculties yesterday, and imagination goes with ether, right? Be it to see it. That was the shaman hack. To be before it comes in order for it to come. And that's pulling from the ether. Today, there's 3 areas, your higher faculties, that are going to be related to physical specifically. Okay, reason. And the key here is you have to think for yourself. Don't go into group think or what everyone else thinks. Ask yourself if it's true. And if it is, do you want it to be? Okay, think. This is your reason. Only you can decide what's true for you. Perception is also physical. How you're perceiving of something is going to directly tie into your identity and what you choose to take from circumstances and how you choose to move forward. So again, it takes thinking. Will is the other higher faculty that you use to create. And that's the physicality of doing, of action, right? Ask, align, allow, activate. So it's very important that you decide to do something and follow through. Decide to tune in this week and do the homework and follow through. Don't let self-sabotage, tantruming, what is the physicality of not being where you want to be, get in the way from actually doing the work. Okay, so today's exercise, the homework for today is going to be all about making space for your goals. Okay, you have only a certain amount of energy that you can contain. And so if it's being cluttered up by things that don't serve you, you're never going to go outside of that because you're fully engaged in all of the other stuff. And so you need to make space for the goals that you vision and that you will proceed forward with. So what this means is you need to detox. You can think about it as decluttering. Declutter your mind, body, and soul, and physical space even. This is why it feels so good when you donate things and everything has its place and there's space for living, breathing, working, flowing. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So what I want you to do this week is put your feet in the soil. Go outside, and if you don't live in a warm climate, put your hand on a tree. Okay, so the homework is letting go and then feeling that replenishing energy coming through with alignment with the people, places, and things that are magnetizing to you to fulfill your wish. Okay, so again, snap a photo of your feet in the soil. So go outside, take your shoes off, socks off, put your feet in the soil. Okay, there's so many reasons to do this, to connect in with the earth energies, which are totally upgraded and aligned in every moment. But you know, there's this negative ion thing that happens when you put your hands or your feet in soil. There's physical stuff that occurs to help support your optimal flow. So imagine. So put your feet in the soil or your hands on a tree. Visualize letting go, just letting go of any stories, any limiting beliefs, patterns, past, you know, given to you, programmed in you, experienced by you or others. Just let that go. Let that go. Let it cleanse out through your feet or your hands. And then I want you to imagine being replenished by the energy that you need to move forward. And your consciousness commands this energy flow. And so snap a photo of your feet in the soil or your hands on a tree, whichever you want to do. And you're going to be entered to win the grand prize. Again, do something different today. Push harder, but not too hard. 4%. Remain engaged. Do more. Switch it up. You know, even something as simple as eating with your left hand if you're right-handed, you know, anything that gets you engaged and in the now moment, conscious of your choices, is going to set you up for success. So guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to see you in day 3. And that's going to be tomorrow, December 12th. This replay will be available for a limited time. And I hope you have an outstanding day. Mwah, mwah. Thanks for joining me. Love to you and yours. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.